Hello everyone and welcome to the Scrappy Sisters. I'm Katie and I am filming today a tutorial on how I make my flip books. So this is an example of what I'm going to show you. Well, this is actually what I'm going to show you. So you can see here how I like to make my flip book, and this is what we're going to do a tutorial through today. It's pretty quick, it's pretty simple, particularly if you prepare everything beforehand, but it's something that I found works well for me. Also fits into the DVD boxes that I like to send my flip books in. They're just cardboard boxes that we buy from Australia Post here in Australia, and I find it keeps everything nice and sturdy. So I've made them the right size to fit in that box with a bit of trial and error. So please, I'm going to put you on fast forward and I'm going to do a voiceover for the rest of the tutorial, but please, I hope you enjoy it. See you at the end. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need for my style of flip book is 2 pieces of cardstock. I've chosen just a plain white cardstock for the moment. We are going to stick pattern paper over the top, so it only needs to be a plain cardstock. I just use this to help keep my flip book sturdy. So you'll need to cut 4 pieces of your cardstock at 20 centimeters by 14 centimeters. So if you work in inches, that's 8 inches by 5.5 inches. So, as I said, you need 4 of these, so we're going to make 8 different sort of sides to our flip book. So we'll have 8 different pieces of pattern paper, which I'm showing you now. So I've selected 8. I went for a theme of pink, black and gold for this particular flip book, hence why I picked white cardstock for the back. I think that works quite well with the pattern paper that I've chosen. So you then need to cut out, or I've cut out 1 of each sheet of pattern paper. Obviously you can choose whichever pattern paper you like, in whatever combination you like. I've chosen 8 different styles. You might do all the same, or 4 and 4, or who knows, it's up to you. So these you need to cut slightly smaller than your white cardstock or your cardstock backing. So I've cut mine at 17 centimeters by 13.5 centimeters, or in inches, that's 6 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So I go through and I cut 1 of each of the pieces of pattern paper I've selected, so that I've got 8 in total, and these are to cover our white cardstock. Again, I really don't think I make you sit through all of this. That would take a really long time. I think this is the last one that you see. So here we go. I'm just swapping over the cutting blade in my trimmer into a scoring tool, and then what you need to do is score the pieces of white cardstock. So you saw earlier when I did my intro that my flip book sort of has a space, sort of a gusset almost in between, and that's so that when I fill it with goodies, it closes flat. So I score each of the pieces of white cardstock at 1.5 centimeters, which is 1/2 inch. So you'll see me scoring those. I really like that you can swap the cutting blade out of this trimmer. I only realised that not long ago, and I've had this trimmer for a long time, and I was very excited because I thought I think I need a scoring mat, and then I figured out, no, I don't need a scoring mat, I just need to swap the blade out of my trimmer, and now it can do both. I was very pleased. I like to save a bit of money where I can. So right, we don't need that anymore, the trimmer, we'll put that away. So now all you need to do is stick your patterned paper to your white cardstock. So make sure when you're sticking that down that you stick that pattern paper in between the 2 score lines. So you don't want to cover those score lines, otherwise when you go to fold it and stick it together, the paper, well for me anyway, it did buckle a little bit and it wasn't nice and smooth. So when you stick the 2 or your flip book together, the 2 pages together, because I haven't covered the little flaps with any patterned paper, for me it worked quite seamlessly, and it wasn't as obvious that the book was sort of stuck together. I don't use washi tape to stick mine together, so I find it just doesn't hold properly. I don't know if it's the kind of washi tape that I have, or if it's just washi tape in general. I mean, I know washi tape isn't like sort of the double-sided tape that I use in here to stick the patterned paper down, but I really just find the washi tape, it just doesn't stick. So because I often am sending my flip books overseas and they've got to go a long way in the post, and Australia Post here in Australia, they're just notorious for throwing your packages around and not taking very care of things. So I just thought better to be safe than sorry, and I wanted to make a really sturdy flip book. So you can see here I'm just sticking the pattern paper down. Look, I personally just stick it wherever. I don't sort of do a lovely pattern. I just pop it down and not tend to sort of worry. I suppose if you were doing coordinating colours and you wanted a theme, or you were making it all work together as a whole, then obviously you'd pay more attention to where you were sticking it. If you haven't worked out about me already, I'm not like that. I just stuck it down wherever and hoped it looked good at the end, which I think it did. I think it turned out quite well. So again, I really don't think I make you watch all of these. There you go, I don't. So let's pop in the last one down there. So then I've got my 4 pieces of pattern paper, my 4 pieces of paper with the 8 different sides. So now I'm just scoring or folding the little score lines we've made to make those little flaps on the end, and that's what's going to stick our book together. So once I've sort of folded all those over, I did use my bone scorer for the first one, but I just found they're such small flaps that they really didn't need it. They folded crisply on their own, but of course if you prefer you can always use a bone folder. So you can see here I'm just lining them up, making sure they all open and close properly, and I've got they're all the same size. I did that once and that was a bit of a nightmare, so now I measure everything out. So I'm just making sure they're the same size and that they're folding the way that I want them to fold before I stick them together. And to do that, as I said before, I'm using double-sided tape and not washi. Washi looks pretty and it really is lovely. I do think the washi tape looks pretty, but I just find in terms of keeping the flip book together, this just works much better for me. So I'm going to stick to my double-sided tape method for the moment anyway. So you can see there I've just lined it up, sticking it together. It folds nicely, everything lines up, it's nice and square, and I've got that lovely sort of space in the middle there when I close that book that lets me pop lots of goodies in there, and my envelopes and my letter and tags and other bits and pieces that I'm sending to my pen pal, and you know, it still sits nice and flat. So you can see here I'm just going to go back along and stick all the different sides together. And the trick here is just making sure you remember which way you're folding it. So there you go, you can see there. I'm sort of going in a concertina type fold. Just as only which piece of paper I want on the front, even though I said I don't really care, you know, just double checking. The only thing I did know, and you probably didn't notice, but I've got a gold foil piece of paper, and I did decide that I wanted that as my front cover. So you see that one on the left there, that's gold foil, and I just did want that to be on the front. So you'll see me go, oh no, that's not the way I wanted it, and re-flip it, there you go. So all you really need to do now is just cut that last remaining flap off. You don't need it, it just gets in the way, so you just trim that off. I'm making use of my new little guillotine trimmer that I bought the other day, and I really love it actually. It's really handy for cutting small things. Don't know how I lived without one, really. So this is the end of the flip book, and you can see here it goes together really nicely. I really like them. I've really been impressed with how they stay together. I think they're great. I am filming a video straight after this one of me decorating this particular flip book, so I hope to have that edited and up not long after this one, so please tune back to watch that. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you next time. Bye!